Some people might remember the video I did on gangs in the U.S. military. We have gangs from A to Z in the U.S. military. Okay, from the Aryan nations to the Zulu, Zazaza, Zuzi, Zazazazazazazi. Okay, I'm going to leave links showing this in the description. My point is, there's new revelations that there are actually there's the allegedly the Banditos motorcycle club meaning one percenter motorcycle club, outlaw motorcycle club, is represented in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Okay, now and that they're brutalizing Hispanic citizens, which is odd. But the fact of the matter is that the Banditos Motorcycle Club is allegedly outlaw motorcycle club is allegedly represented within the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department based on internal leaks and internal whistleblowers. Okay, so it's probably pretty good. I don't know how many people, this is my point. What happens to somebody in the military after they get done being in the military? They tend to become a cop or something similar, most likely. There's not a lot of jobs for infantrymen in your everyday life, and factory work doesn't have the same thrill as being an infantryman. So a lot of times they will join the police force. And a lot of times what happens is they tend to not be reacclimated to civil society after having served in a war. Now, during times of peace, reacclimation is not that big of a deal, but during times of war, like the United States has been in for, 2 decades now, it can be harder to reacclimate them to everyday life. So we have a disproportionate amount of, now the other thing besides law enforcement, a lot of motorcycle clubs, the original street gangs before the modern day Bloods and Crips and gangster disciples and things like that. Prior to that, at the end of World War II, while the country was still predominantly white, I think it still might be, but when it was still definitely predominantly white, and I don't mean mestizo, I mean white, the motorcycle gangs, particularly the Hells Angels, were formed from former military. I believe the Hells Angels were former Army Air Corps members, but the motorcycle gangs were formed from former soldiers, former U.S. soldiers, formed outlaw motorcycle gangs. Okay? Now, why is this important? I've never doubted gang influence in the local police forces. When I was, and obviously this will come back to bite me in the ass in the comments section, but yeah, there's a lot of people in the Philadelphia police force that you can tell by tattoos. Black people that you can tell by tattoos are members of the new Black Panther Party, or at least are sympathetic to the new Black Panther Party through the tattoos that they show on their bodies. Okay, this is why tattoos are discouraged and actually not allowed in the military. Although who knows anymore? From what I'm hearing, you can have full beards now and all kinds of haircuts and everything else in the military. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I'm hearing. I might have to look into that and make a video on how ridiculous that is. Because you can't put a gas mask on if you have a full beard like Muhammad. Just saying. That gas mask ain't working. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying there. And it's also kind of hard to fit it over a turban if you're a Sikh. My point is the level of corruption in this country is reaching banana republic levels. And that's what I think is funny when people keep saying, oh, well, you want to beware of Latin America because there's gangs in Latin America. There's organized crime in Latin America. What the hell do you think's going on right outside my apartment right now? And the fact of the matter is, what a lot of people don't realize is the same involvement of organized crime within the government seems to be here in the United States too. Okay? It seems to be back to the levels it was at the height of the mob. The difference is it's not the mob now. Now it's other things going on. And that's the thing. It's more local, less national, but it's still bad news for the average citizen. I don't know how many people remember Christopher Dorner. His complaint when he got fired for reporting his the chick that he was doing the ride along with, because he stated that she kicked a homeless man. Okay, as a former homeless person, I have no doubts in my mind that that's what took place. No doubts whatsoever that Christopher Dorner was telling the truth. No doubts whatsoever that he was fired for telling the truth. However, he was a little cuckoo, and he, who remembers the standoff and them accidentally burning him alive, it kind of reminds me of the Branch Davidians, but he accidentally got burned alive. Probably because they didn't want him chit-chatting afterward. Now, I don't have any proof that that's why that happened or what happened there, but that's what my guess is. Now, my point is that Christopher Dorner was pointing out violence against homeless people. It seems that that's what this gang activity is, and there's another gang, not just the Bandidos, but there's another group within the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department that only allows whites and Hispanics, and I guess Asians in. It said no blacks or women. And it calls itself the Executioners, and the symbol is a Nazi skeleton, like a skeleton wearing a Nazi helmet, carrying a firearm. This reminds me of the prison gangs, like the Nazi lowriders. What a lot of people don't understand, there's a disproportionate amount of, well, I guess a lot of people do understand it. There's a disproportionate amount of Latinos and African Americans in prison. So there's not a lot of whites in prison. So even when white Americans in prison, white prisoners, form prison gangs, they're still pretty well outnumbered. So certain gangs, like the Nazi lowriders, began letting in Hispanic subjects. And that's how that works. And that's what this reminds me of, this executioners thing. But I mean, this is getting to the point, and I'm going to leave a link to David Duke, part of the senatorial debate, where David Duke explains how the United States is becoming a banana republic. It's becoming a banana republic. It is. I mean, you're having outlaw motorcycle gangs, regular gangs, and I don't know what you'd call some of the stuff just going on in local police, in the military. I mean, this is not a healthy country at this point. This is not a healthy country. It's also not healthy, and I'm going to leave a link to that. It's not healthy that they're more concerned about stratifying the military and turning white people and women and men and blacks and whites against each other in the military, instead of trying to unite the military as the military of the United States of America. It's all kinds of messed up, okay? And this is the thing. People will go, what's the harm in multiculturalizing the country and allowing people to retain, not forcing naturalization on people? Well, look around. Look around. You have the banditos in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department now, apparently. And you have all sorts of gangs from A to Z in the United States military. Okay? And I'll leave a link to my video on that. But I mean, it's just nuts. The reason I'm leaving a link to my video is because the links in that the description of that video. Follow the links in that description for more on those things and the crimes taking place in our military against members of our military by other members of our military because of inter-gang warfare taking place amongst our soldiers. It's outright batshit insane what's going on in this country. And that's all for this video.